Howdy, welcome back. We're about to cut power. Boom. Snippets. Set. 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 Save. P. C. Pre-save. Then that's good. Boom. Great. Setup. Shut down. Well, normally you wouldn't do this. I'm gonna mute first. Should mitigate it a little bit, but we'll still hear it when the amp turn on. There we go. That means those will go as well, which means I can now unplug this one. And you're probably asking me, well, why are you unplugging the power? Well, that's a good reason for it. We're gonna run two cables into the same box. Now, I know some people is gonna come at me and be like, yo, this ain't totally appropriate then. Well, I know. Trust me, I know. But when you're in a quote-unquote sticky situation, there's only so much you can do. So basically what's going on is that we need to feed in this cable, which in ground reason as far as feeding a cable in ain't that big of a deal. Then this one needs to plug in on our L3, which supposedly that's the L3, so L2 is what this one is gonna plug into. Shouldn't be any problem. Of course, these screws are quite thick for well, quote-unquote obvious reasons. I mean, quote-unquote, this is a three-phase system, so quote-unquote is made for three-phase conductors, quote-unquote. So now there's our second phase. Supposedly neutral will still go to neutral, so we gotta back the neutral off. I could run it to three-phase, but since we have a neutral is still gonna go to neutral, even though it's three-phase. Now I gotta be... Oh, come on. Cool. Well, I'll deal with this later, because I hear my water is about ready for coffee. Clonk, clonk, then I'll let that sit for a while. And then we're going to try to feed this one. And what we could do is do probably what's technically speaking considered the smart thing to do, which is, well, quote unquote, recrimp both cables into each other. Which is probably considered to be the better option, but yeah. Well, they ain't coming out, so I suppose that's main case of profanity. Then we have the quote-unquote ground cable, which I have a feeling I am gonna have to put in one, because I don't have any big about that. We kinda have to just jam this thing, quote-unquote. Because, well, somebody broke off the stud on this fucker by accident. Which means, quote-unquote, technically speaking, I need a new 3-phase plug, technically speaking. Now, there's not gonna be much sound stuff going through here, so I think we're fine, personally. So personally, I would say we're fine. Again, not recommended, but here we are. So basically, the main reason for me doing this is because I need some other power over here. Mainly, I have this block over here, which this one is gonna get plugged into to get power to that one. So if we get power over there, then that's all that matters. That one's on, we got power over there, that one's back on. Mixer's powering back on, which means we got power over there. We got power here still, lights are back on. Load, yes. So supposedly that should be all I need to do. And we should be back up in business. Yes. Well, that was a fast swap by Rooney. But now we have secondary power over here. As well as this thing, quote unquote. Well, I mean, it's like it's longer. Is it longer? Yes. Did it benefit you that it was longer? Probably not, but here we are. That's kind of the standpoint we're at anyway. But we got power over here. That's what matters. If it's like that, sure, not the best thing in the world, but here we are. And the best thing about this is that we can jam it a little bit more down in here, because it's still be quite long. Now, one thing that I am gonna do now, as those are like that, is quote unquote bound them together in a few spots, since, well, now as they are on the same plug, we aren't gonna be able to pull them off of the same plug, so unless we like physically unbound it from it. So then I figured we might as well just do this. That means I also can use up one of my PVC rolls finally. Then we wrap a few more rounds around there. And well, eat. Quote unquote. So just to get it on the correct side, quote unquote. Well, pretty much here is where these can part ways for now. So we'll cut her there. Call that good for now. And then I can replug this one back here. So now this one got power, this one now got signal too from that other mixer. Which for the time being, from a power standpoint, we are ready to go. So then we got this one, this collectible, and we're pulling from, well, supposedly, if I remember correctly, it's L1 and L3 we have coming in here. So L2, L3, L2, L3, L2. So we're supposedly pulling L2 and L2. Supposedly. Cable's not warm, so not really concerned. The same with the neutral leg, not warm either, so I'm pretty confident it's fine. Since we're currently powering, technically speaking, off the same leg. We've got leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, which is basically just 3 L2 feeds. But then going into here, so we got this brown L1 and this black L2 that's currently feeding 2 circuits. So L1 is feeding the stereo, L2 is feeding that one back there. That's currently how this entire madness is working. But yeah, we got power back here.
Thanks, Mark. Mark, thank you, Stacy.
So first of all, we need a new filter. That's one thing. But I'm gonna do as always and try to scrape off the top. Get as much as the toppling stuff at least. As a start. Okay, I think that's a good start. So we now got power back here. This is a good thing, very good thing. So now these ones are gonna lose the MX now for a minute. What I want to do is feed the playing it real tough with that USB cable at the moment. Now take the stage box out of here. Well, there's various reasons for that we'll discuss in a hot moment once I actually get this entire madness out. So oh god, okay, move you down here for now. So everything actual stage box related can come out from there. Everything that's quote unquote not stage box related, like this stuff, well, quote unquote the last which apparently is on the other side of the stage box, so I gotta unplug it first. And then I'll feed her back, and for the time being I'll hook her back up into, since I do not have an Ethernet dongle I can use to do that at the moment. So 5, 7, 10, 9, 11, 8, 9, 12. So this is the only one we need at the moment. That can go here, this one can go down in here, and it's the only one that needs to be down in here that needs to be plugged in order to give those signals. So there, stage box out of the way. So now to get over to why we're doing this and why we're moving it is because I'm going to be taking her down from there, on top there, because since I am going to be using this system in a live situation too, I gotta have easy access to just pull out my stage box, since I do not have the budget at the moment to have two different stage boxes for live and studio. And second of all, I need to concentrate my money on an S16 for the rack so I can operate my full 32 in 16 out instead of only 16 in 12 16 in 8 out. I saw 12.4 there, so I got confused. So that's one thing we're gonna do. So technically speaking, we do not need to move this one at the moment, but I do probably want to move this in order to do all of that. So I am going to disconnect the direct box stuff for the time being. So
we're dealing with drummers, the last couple gigs, this drummer in particular, I think we need to have
36 on the battery, so not the best power, but here we are. Anywho, welcome back again, quote unquote. Oof. So we're almost done rolling up the snake. After we're done rolling up the snake, I've prepared a screw out on the balcony. So we're gonna put that light out there. We're gonna turn it up to, per se, all the RGB and so basically full RGB white, and just blast that down to the house. I can use less flash to kind of see possibilities for outdoor testing. And of course it's quite humid now, so we can't do any testing newly. And if we're going to do any testing outside, I'm a little unsure about this neighborhood, how we do it. Theoretically speaking, as long as I do not blast like before, like say 8 in the morning, technically speaking, but say before like 12, after 11 p.m. should be pretty good, because 11 a.m. is like the global quiet time, quote unquote, for like outdoor shows and whatnot. So as long as we're within that time frame, I think we should be pretty good. Do all the regular channels first, then we do these. So there we go, that's the stage box. So now we're gonna throw on this one. Bring the phone, because I'm also gonna be recording. I'm also going to bring this one for good measure. Be able to get back in again. So for now I'm going to disconnect these, quote unquote, then I'm going to disconnect here. Then it's still a little humid outside, but we should be fine. Technically it's not physically raining, so I feel pretty confident about it. Then quote unquote bring this power outside and hopefully reach. Well, we're reaching just about. Okay, we're good, so we're heading down and out.
Okay, it's 1:41. The ceremony.
Okay, so we are outside, quote unquote, trying to not get wet. So I got this one light up there just blasting down here now, just to kind of get a little more overview over the out area here. So this is the global backyard. Been kind of sitting thinking about things, about maybe setting up a little bit of a test show out here, kind of see how things were doing. So from the house is probably going to be up there then, so stage box will be coming down and then out along here. So stage will probably fit nicely in between out here, across here, main stair, speakers. Obviously it would be a little weird for me to be mixing from up in there. It's not going to be fully correct, but at least that's where we are. And what I think will work fine. We got a bench here so some people can sit there. So obviously this is not really directly the time of year to be doing outdoor shows without the proper protection equipment, because as you can see it's quite dewy and it's quite cold. I have this one here, my hand holding the phone is freezing to death. So yeah, so basically that's where we are. That part right there, it does not have a wide spread, but it has definitely strong enough knife. You can see pretty good there, and if you look right into it you get blinded. So definitely strong enough. So that's where we are, at least as far as lightning is concerned, and as far as eventual stations and whatnot. So that's where we are. So yeah. Oh, lordy hell, it's chilly out here. So yeah, you can see how much space 25 meters of snake take up when you get enough of it. Quite a bit. So for now, until we throw the rest of the power and stuff up in here, that's the stage box out of the way. As far as this standpoint, really, not really much. I mean, this thing can per se get untied from here, unplugged. Although I have no quote-unquote general idea where the fuck we're gonna store this thing, but that's a question for another day. Could store it in my from the house basket. Supposedly, technically speaking, this is also a snake, so I suppose that one could also go down in there, I suppose. So for now I'm gonna put everything flat there. And then we have the rest of these as far as my main goes for the time being. Clonk. and so forth. So yeah, so I said this system is so supposedly we're running mono fed, but toasty.
Demonstrates some of the compromises in lifestyle and combination of not having enough time that we need to do to make sure that we're able to get through this. It's kind of bonus. So issues with the ultimately it's great when the drummers are settled in and tuned to where it's still happen. But
So I gotta get her out. But once she's out here, I can. Cause this thing is a 25 kilo fucking honky tonk and a half. Preferably you want to be 2 when you're lifting it up, but I try to use my feet instead of my back, so I'm trying. At least, I suppose that's what matters. So yeah, so we should be good. Huh? Yikes. That sounds very in tune. I'm gonna consolidate some space. I'm gonna put the pedal boards and stuff on top of here. Not the most preferred thing, but here we are. Just gotta deal with what we gotta deal with. Well, we're back and we're gonna finish up the loadout. I'm gonna quote unquote run off with the speaker. I'm gonna borrow her over here to provide some sound, quote unquote, while we load out. So it's gonna be simple. It's just gonna be unbalanced RCA and just write in and call it a day. Well, power box next to lower box is out here. So yeah, gonna pull that box out of here now. Take and throw a mop on there, sweep over the floor. Get stuff off of this table, move this table over there. So yeah, got the stage switch per se alpha here. I haven't thrown that yet. Stage switch and some other smaller doodads ended up going in this 14.Oct.2017 goodie bag per se. So yeah, so that's about it. It's getting brighter and brighter outside, faster and faster, surprisingly enough. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to be quick about wrapping up here. So yeah. Guitar, blah 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 blah. So that's the logo for you. Well, that's gonna be the last video for me because my phone is running out of power. Anywho, here you have it. Power Xbox. Well, that's gonna be the last video for me because my phone is running out of power. Anywho, here you have it. Power Xbox, yak, mixer. So yeah, see ya.